Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. Today we are here on Carroll, Iowa. I am finally back from summer break, so I am super excited to start creating videos again for you guys. So, like I said, we are here on Carroll, Iowa. This is a new map made by DR Modding. It is currently still in the beta stage, so you can find it over on his Patreon for $20, which isn't bad, honestly, for this high quality of a map. This map is amazing. I'll be showing it off more in future episodes and on live streams and stuff like that. But this is an amazing map. I highly recommend you guys check it out. Now to start here, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a tour of the farm, do a quick equipment tour as well, and then we might dive into some harvest here later this afternoon. But just rolling into the farm here, we are at the entrance. First thing you really notice is the Quonset here, and then this massive soak-up bin setup. So we'll walk over here to the Quonset. We've got our two semi trucks in here. We've got two Kenworth, I think they're T680s or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, they don't really have any badging on them, but we got two trailers here. We've got the Dakota 38-foot, and then we've got, I'm not sure what this is, the Merit, I think it's like a 42-foot hopper trailer there. So two different trailers. I thought they both looked interesting. I don't really use them much, so I thought I would give them a try in this series. Of course, you guys have noticed this massive soak-up grain complex here. It is one of the bigger grain complexes that I have found. I am going for a BTO farm or a pretty big-sized operation here, so we need a good-sized bin set up for that as well. So this is pretty self-explanatory here. We do have another shed off to my right. This is the main cold storage building. Now, I don't have much in here yet. I've got all the equipment bought, but I've got so many sheds here that it's hard to find things to fill up shed space with. But starting off here, we've got our 9RX here on our DB120 planter. I decided to go with the DB120 just because these fields are massive, like you guys will see in future episodes. And when we get into harvest and stuff, you'll see how massive these fields actually are. So that's why I went with the DB120, biggest planter in the game. We also got two R4045s here, one with the sprayer and one with the spreader, just to get things done quick. We got a 120-foot boom on the sprayer. I can't really remember how wide the spreader width is there, but it is pretty large. Definitely the biggest spreader that we have in game here. Moving on over here, this is like the main hub of the farm, just kind of tucked in back here. Now, this is another cold storage building here. I don't have anything in this building yet. Again, I'm struggling to find things to fill up space with. Um, but we'll start over here in this other cold storage building. We've got some tillage equipment in here. We've got our case STX Steiger here, the 9390 on a case 255 cultivator. And then we have our Cat Challenger 85D on our Landau disc. So those are the two tillage pieces of equipment that we have in this barn here. Over here, we've got our service truck, the GMC top kick on our, I think it's a MacDon header. Yeah, the MacDon FD250. It's a 15.2 meter header. I'm not sure what that equates to in feet, but I'd assume like a 50-foot head there. So moving on over here, we've got our Case IH quad track, the 715 quad track on our 875 plow here, or deep ripper, whatever you want to call that. This is a pretty good sized plow. It's gonna still take forever with these massive fields, but I wanted to run some deep tillage here, so that's why I ended up getting the 715 quad track in this 875 here. And then over here we've got our 8910, just basically a chore tractor here on our batwing mower. That's just to mow roadsides, ditches, stuff like that, maybe around the farm occasionally. And then we got our 620 Case IH Steiger here on our J&M 1401 grain cart. Pretty good sized grain cart. Again, field sizes are massive. And then we've got our J&M LC 390C tender here on our Ford F350. Now, you guys will be curious here. I did get a Ford. Typically, I am a Chevy guy. I did switch it up and get a Ford here. I do have another Chevy back at the house, but this is going to be our main work truck. I'm not super happy about the color. White looked amazing on this truck, but the service truck's white and my other Chevy's white, so I couldn't go with a third white truck. So I wanted to try and get a different color on here, and I went with this like navy blue-ish color. Let me know what kind of colors you guys would think would look good on this truck, though, and I might switch it up for next episode here. Of course, we've got our office slash kitchen in here inside that shop there. And then over here for our last main shed here, we've got our combine. We did go big. We got a 16-foot corn head there, and we got the S790 here with the grain tank extensions as well. You can't see it right now because it's all folded up, but yeah, with this combine does hold quite a bit of grain. And then over here we've got our Case IH MX 285 on our, I believe it's called a Nutrimax. This will do like your nitrogen and stuff after the corner's up. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But once the corn is up about a foot or two tall, you'll bring this in and kind of split the corn rows and add more nitrogen and fertilizer and stuff like that. I can't remember the technical term off the top of my head right now, but that is what this machine is used for. So that is pretty much all the equipment in the farm layout. I'll run over and show you guys my house real quick. All right, we're rolling up here to the front of the house. You can see we've got a pond here that looks really small from this angle. You can see we got a sailboat because why not? Sailboat and then a rowboat and some other boats over there. But the pond does continue all the way around, and you can kind of see off in the distance. It's just an absolute massive pond here. I'd almost call it a lake. It's pretty freaking big here. So I spent a lot of time perfecting that, and I think it turned out pretty good. You guys could see it from the aerial shots as well. But we've got our house here along with our Silverado. I believe it's a 2500 HD. I went with a nice modern style house here. I think it turned out pretty good. It's got the brick. It's got some siding in there as well, just to kind of contrast it up a little bit. And it was really important to me that I got a house with an interior so I can role play and stuff and walk inside and sleep and stuff like that inside the house. So that's another reason I went with that. But with that, that's the entire farm tour slash equipment tour done. So we're probably going to dive into some bean harvest here this afternoon. Our beans are ready. Our corn is still a little bit wet, and a lot of it's still green, to be honest with you. We went with a late maturity corn this year, so that's not ready quite yet. So we need to go ahead and jump in the combine and get that all set up for beans here. All right, we'll run over to the S790 here, hop up in, get it all fired up here. I gotta find a spot to put the corn head. I might just pull the combine out, spin it around, and pull the head back in here and unhook it there. That's probably the best spot. Keep it out of the weather, just for now until we get to corn harvest here in the next couple weeks. All right, we'll pull it back on in here. Try not to hit the shells back here and get it lowered down. Right about there's probably good, and we'll get it all unhooked right there. You may have noticed I did change my FOV here in the combine just because it looked a little bit crammed, if you will. You couldn't really see much, so I did adjust that and make it a little bit wider so you can see a little bit more in cab here. But now we'll go ahead and just park it right here, and we'll try and get everything switched out for corn. We did have it set for beans. We had it set for corn. So we'll jump back here. I probably got to get this unfolded, get back here and change out some things here, and we'll get this thing all set up. All right, so after about maybe an hour, we got everything all changed over, got everything unfolded. The grain extensions are unfolded and ready to go, locked in place there. So I'm going to go ahead and get the service truck out and make sure the header's all ready. Make sure we don't have to replace any sickles or anything like that. We haven't done anything since soybean harvest last year, and I haven't had a chance to look this over yet. So we're just going to pull this out of the shed here and take a quick look at it. All right, we're checking all the sickles here. Everything looks good. I forgot this header was belt driven as well, so we don't really have to worry about the auger. There is an auger there, but it's not as important as if it was the main auger without the belt here. So just make sure all the sickles are good, and then we're going to grease this whole thing up here. Let me grab the grease gun out of the bed of the service truck here, or out of the box here. Grab that. I'm going to take these covers off and then get everything, all the chains and stuff greased here. All right, put that cover back on, and there we go. Everything is greased and ready to go. I did get the combine grease as we were setting it up, so everything is good there. I'm going to go ahead and jump up in the service truck and take it out to the field. We are going to do the home field first, just so we can get everything dialed in and set up here. So it's not too far of a journey. We got to take this header. I would just hook it up to the combine now, but I'm not sure it'd fit through the farm because our farm is pretty compact. So we're just going to drive over here. I'm not sure where exactly I want to park it. Probably on the right side. That would make it easier for the combine to hook up. Probably run over this bush and just park it over here somewhere. Probably there. That's probably pretty good. Go ahead and turn that off and hop out. And it is kind of in the trees here. I don't think I got any branches stuck in the header. No, this looks like it's above. I've got to be really careful when taking the header off the trailer there, that I don't scrape or anything on those tree branches. But we're going to run back into the combine and hopefully get this header hooked up, no problems. Now, I did just realize I ran the complete wrong direction because you can see our service truck's right there, and I went all the way around this building and then around this way. I should have just cut through the yard there. That is super unfortunate. Don't tell the wife I'm driving to the yard. She'll have my head. All right, we're over here getting the header all hooked up. Let's see if we can get this lined up properly here. All right, we got it all hooked up here. I had to unhook it from the service truck first before I can hook up the combine because I knew the header was going to lift up. So now I've got to fold the header back up. The wheels will get turned around here. We're going to go make sure all the PTOs are hooked up correctly. That looks good there. And all the hoses are all hooked up as well. We'll go check the other side, and then we should be good to roll here. All right, we'll try and get this thing backed up here. Like I said, this is approximately a 50-foot header. In-game, it says it's a 15.2 meter head. So 45 to 50 foot somewhere in there. So it's really hard to maneuver around here. We're going to get this out to the field, and then we're just going to cut a little pass open so we can get our grain cart and stuff over here with our semis as well. So let's go ahead and fire it up for the first time. Make sure everything's working good. It seems to be. Let's check and make sure the auger's running back here. Can't really tell. It sounds like it is, though. And we'll go ahead and lower the header. And we'll dive on in here. See if we can't crank it to the left. Everything looks pretty good so far. I'm just going to make a trip down about to that tree down there and then come back. That way we can get the trucks in here with the grain cart. I'm not going to go too fast. I think 6 miles an hour is a decent speed here for now. We do have to watch out for rocks as well here. Rocks do like to pop up during the summer. So we got to keep our eyes out for that as well. I did come out here and pick some rocks the other day before the soybeans got too tall. But yeah, I still got to look out for that. So we're going to go ahead and pick the header up and turn around and just head back the other way if we can get spun around here. It seems to be cutting well. I will hop out after I get back just to check to see how much we're losing out the back and how well it's cutting. But so far, it does seem to be working pretty good. Alright, we'll just follow our curve over here towards our service truck. And then we'll hop out and check everything. I don't want to run into my service truck, or worse, I don't want to drive into the pond. Things have been pretty dry, so I don't have to worry about getting stuck here. In years past, we have had trouble with the pond flooding and this area being soaking wet and then getting stuck. But this year, thankfully, you don't have to worry about that. So we're going to turn the header off, just drive out here a ways out of the way, and then get everything checked out here. We'll go ahead and shut it off, hop on out, and just give everything a check here. Walk out back here. I mean, there is a couple here. I might have to adjust the separator just a little bit. But overall, it's not too bad. It is cutting well. You can see all the leaves are coming out the back here, thankfully. You can see the beans are still a little bit green. It might be a little bit early to pick these or cut these beans. But I think I'm going to full send it here after what I'm seeing. Everything's dry enough. Everything's running through the combine good. I'm not seeing too many beans on the ground. I'll adjust the separator a little bit, grab some tools out of the service truck here, and I'll get that done. All right, just put the tools back in. I got the separator adjusted here. I'm going to run back and grab our Steiger and grain cart and pull that out to the field, and then I'll grab the semis as well. Since it is really close to the farm, typically I would just run the grain cart back and forth to the bins, but since we have the bins on both sides, we can't really do that, so we're gonna have to run trucks back and forth unless I would get an auger or something, but that's a lot of work. I'll just drive the trucks back and forth for today. All right, I'm gonna drive the grain cart out here and park it next to this tree, kind of keep it in the shade somewhat. It is gonna get pretty hot today. I think it's gonna get in the 80s or 85-ish roughly. Not quite 90s, but for October, 85 is extremely hot. So if we keep this in the shade, I know it's only 10 o'clock, but it'll get hot here pretty quick. So we'll leave that there, go grab the semi-trucks, and then we'll get back to harvesting. All right, we've gotten both Kenworths out to the field here. You can kind of see the difference in trailer length here, but it's not too bad. They both hold about 40,000 liters. Again, I don't know the conversion from liters to bushels off the top of my head, but I would say it's probably about 1,000 bushels per trailer, roughly speaking here. So we're going to jump back in the S790, get it all fired back up, And I guess I'll go in third person here. You can see that section behind that tree there. I'm going to cut that section first. So I'll have to cross the waterway, do that quick, and then we'll move over to this bigger side over to my right here. This field is about 160 acres in total. So this is going to take us quite a while here to get this thing done. Definitely not going to get it all done in one episode, but maybe I'll do it off camera after, or maybe a live stream or something at some point. So we're going to dive on in here and get started. All right, got it all turned on and lowered down. I'm going to cut straight here and then kind of turn and then follow it across the waterway here. And I will end up picking it up for the waterway here just because I don't want grass getting through with grass seed getting in. So lift it up a little bit there. We do have a plane flying overhead. It is extremely loud. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that or not. But here we go. We are diving in. Soybean harvest is a go for 2025. Alright, we're just going to snake around the yard here. Try not to get into these bushes or anything like that. Just kind of brush up against them. Looking good there. Now, what do you guys think about the farm? I think I did a pretty good job on it. I think it might be a little bit too compact when trying to maneuver equipment around, especially the size of equipment we have right now. But go ahead and give me a rating in the comments below of what you guys think about the farm. I will be putting the time-lapse of me building the farm at the end of this video, so if you want to check that out, go ahead and watch that at the end of this video. Alright guys, as you can see, we are about full here. I got the auger out and ready to go for when we do get full here. We are at about 94, 95%-ish. We did almost make it all the way around, which is pretty surprising to me. I didn't think we would. Of course, we only went around the small section. While we're unloading into the grain car, I'll jump into my iPad here and show you guys how much we have harvested around this field and how much more we have to go. Like I said, I think it converts out to about 160 acre field, which is pretty massive in my opinion. So definitely going to take us quite a while here as we are just wrapping up this first grain tank full, this first load here. And we are full. Get the combine shut off, and I'll go ahead and jump in the grain cart and get it over here. Jump in the grain cart here, get it all fired up, and we're going to run over and get this combine unloaded. We did get a little bit lucky that we were along the waterway here, so we don't have to cut out a pass for the cart to get there. So we lucked out there. So we're just going to pull up straight here and get the combine unloaded. Looks like the auger just barely isn't long enough to unload on the go. Might have to get that adjusted before corn harvest, because definitely going to need to unload on the go for corn harvest. Alright, so I'll jump in my iPad here and show you guys how much we have harvested. Alright, you take a look here. This is what we've harvested. Again, we started here and worked our way around the outside. I did kind of cut through here because the waterway doesn't actually extend all the way up. So I just cut a pass down here, and then we're going to get this harvested today. And then you can see how much left we will have to harvest later. And this field is absolutely massive. I can't stress that enough to you guys. Apparently the yield bonus is about 67% according to that data that just popped up there. So we should be getting quite a few soybeans off this field. We do have time-saving stock check in here, so we will be able to see the price of soybeans and stuff once we get them in the bins as well here. But the combine is empty, so we'll go ahead and jump back in the combine and continue finishing up our headlands here. Alright, we made it back into the combine here. Get everything fired back up, put the auger back in, and we should be ready to go here. pretty sure I left my combine up there. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I don't have a higher worker, do I? Oh, I understand. Okay, so guys, this is a multiplayer server, and apparently my combine just got hijacked. As you guys were seeing on the time lapse, I was unloading the combine, got the grain cart unloaded into the trucks, and evidently Kevin came. He stopped by with his Steiger, and evidently he just took control of the combine. So I guess he's gonna try the combine now. Wasn't expecting that at all. So I guess we can run grain cart now and get this section finished. All right, Kevin has now left. He has given us back control of our combine here. I thought I would get the combine unloaded again here. He left the combine running, so I can't walk around that way, or that would be a bad day. So we'll walk around the back of the here and hop back up in the combine, and we'll fold the auger back in, and we'll continue harvesting here. Alright guys, we are just about done with this first section here, the section west of the waterway here. I do have to head back the other way for one little small chunk that I did miss. But everything's running good here. The yield isn't bad. We are getting full pretty quick here, and we've already got one truck full. I don't think I have enough here in the grain cart and the combine to fill the second truck, but it'll be pretty close. I'll probably get at least 2/3 full, 3/4 full is my guess here. Yeah, probably going to leave this over there for another day. There's just a lot there, and it's just going to take quite a while here. So we'll get this little tiny chunk here into the combine, get the combine unloaded into the grain cart, and then just see how full we can get that second truck there. Like I said, it's probably going to be 2/3 to 3/4 is my guess. But let me know in the comments, do you guys like the first person style, or do you want me to stay in third person and roleplay from third person? I'm fine with either. I have been digging the first person stuff here recently though, so yeah, just let me know in the comments which one you guys prefer. Just like that, the combine is empty. Again, we didn't have much in there to begin with, so we're probably just gonna park this over here by the shade tree, just out of the way. And right about there is good. I'm not sure which part we're going to harvest first. As you guys can see, there's another waterway that cuts through there. So I don't know if we're going to do this part or jump over to this part yet. So we'll just park the combine there, just so we have it in a good spot for either place where we want to start. But run back over here, grab the Steiger and grain cart, and then head over to the semis. I believe the second trailer is a little bit smaller than the first one. The first one took pretty much the whole grain cart, though, so the grain cart's definitely not full here, so we'll see how much of this it actually takes. Let's try not to run into the semi here. You do have to get really close. The auger is not very long on this cart. And there we go. We should be able to unload from there. Yeah, I'm not sure what the issue here is, guys. I've tried both sides. You can hear... It sounds like it's wanting to unload. So when I back off, that sound stops. And I pull back on here. Well. Yeah, there it goes. It acts like it wants to unload, but nothing's actually going into the trailer. So it looks like we've encountered our first problem of the series here, guys, unfortunately. So I will have to sell that trailer and probably buy the same one that I have on that first truck up there. The, what is it, Meredith or something? I can't remember the exact name of it, but I guess we're just going to park the grain cart here for now, and we'll get this first semi unloaded. Let's see, which trailer is it again? It's the Merit trailer, so I'll probably end up buying another one of these. Obviously, it's not the grain cart's problem, because the grain cart unloaded into here, so... Alright, truck is fired up. We'll go ahead and drive this on over to the grain bins. Man, I just love the sound of this truck here. See if we can swing wide in here and get lined up correctly. And there we go. We are unloading the soybeans. First hopper is unloaded. We'll go ahead and switch and unload the back hopper. And that is the trailer completely empty. We're going to go ahead and check time savings stock check here and see about how much money that'll give us. We check here in the time saving stock check mod soybeans. We've got a little over 40,000 liters of soybeans in here. The current price is a little under $2,000, so our max value is around 80K right now. Now, if we wait for the max price in July, we'll get $3,700, and our max value is $151,000, which is huge, especially off that tiny portion here. I'll show you the map here, and we'll go to growth. This is all that we had harvested. You can see we have probably 4 times that left to be harvested, at least, maybe 5 times. And that's just one field. Let me run you guys through the fields that we own. So obviously we own field 69 here. That's where the farm is at. We own field 40, that is corn. Field 2, that is corn, I believe. No, field 40 and 2 are both soybeans. We own field 70, which is also soybeans. Field 21 is soybeans. Field 26 is a massive corn field that we own. And field 62 is soybeans. So realistically, field 26 is the only cornfield that we own that I'm seeing currently, which is kind of unfortunate. Next year, we're going to have to do some things here and get the rotation figured out. But yeah, right now, 26 is the only cornfield that we do have. The rest are all soybean fields. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fields to our name right now. You can kind of see the fields everybody else owns. We've got Kevin down here with his little piece down here. He's doing mostly cattle and some smaller grain farming with those small fields down there. We have Ben here with he's got cattle as well with some smaller stuff. And then we got Caleb here with his stuff as well. He's also doing cattle. So I'm pretty much the only guy on here that's not doing any animals. I'm just doing a big grain operation, which is why I own most of the big fields. Everybody else owns some smaller sections. But yeah, we'll get this truck back to the field. All right, here we are back at the field after that long drive all the way back here. And we're going to get this thing parked up and then call it a day. I've had a blast so far in my return to Farming Simulator. Like I said, I was gone all summer, just decided to take a break from it. And I'm happy to be back. I can't wait to start making more videos for you guys here. And yeah, we'll go from there. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks, guys.